for illumined life to be birthed into form. I am the truth. I am the light. Illumine, beloved divine.
So hello there everyone, and welcome to this video update with me here today. I actually have a very super important video update prepared today, and I actually, in the name of that importance, right, the great trumpeter, I wanted to sit here today in this meadow with the crickets. So I'm gonna have a minute, well maybe a little less, I can't be quiet for so long, of silence with you all so you can hear the crickets. So now that we've all heard the crickets singing, announcing, it's beautiful now, you know, the meadows in the month of May and June are incredible. I also want to make another announcement, which is I'm actually sitting on a bucket. It's not really comfortable, but it's the best thing I could find here. It's an old bucket, so it's gonna be on the go because as you can see, I'm in my hiking gear. So I just went for a walk, and today is most intense integration day because yesterday another portal day happened. So I'm sure that those of you who are very beautiful, bright, connected souls and light beings here on this planet, currently in service to this greater galactic divine plan, you've been feeling something, or you felt an incredible lot, right? We each feel in our own way. So I've been in connection with a few people and they've all felt it, and I've actually literally created a portal yesterday. I've seen a portal because it was all cloudy, it was all stored up, literally piled up, and I did this amazing work that I've just started doing now with the life force activation, with the presence of spirit directly, and I've been upgraded to this new path. So I went outside, I went to hike the waterfall almost in the rain, and it was just this incredible opening, and I made a picture, I shared it on Instagram with you all. But I want to start talking about what actually took place, because after that intense day, today I went outside, and of course it was rainy again, but it opened up a little bit. And what I felt the moment I came to one of the waterfalls, because we have many, as you know, here in this beautiful alpine region where I am currently located, it's like I felt like this unloading of energy. I instantly felt like we've all decluttered, in a way, removed an incredible amount of storage density. And it was like this incredible purging, cleansing, and those of you who are really connected and really pure beings, you will feel it sometimes, like needing to clear your physical space, or people now had, and when these things happen, when portal days happen, we have immense physical symptoms. And what happens with me is I'm so charged, you know, that day I have a tremendous breakthrough, and this happens usually, for me it's always been on the weekends, but I'll tell you something incredible that happened this time, right? Because today's Saturday and something shifted, and I'll share with you guys. But it was almost like, it was so intense. Even when I went to bed, I couldn't sleep. It was so supercharged. And I remembered, oh, right, you can do the whole closing up of energy, you know, and it's in a lot of these teachings that teach life force work and flow through the body. And one of these teachings I've completely recommended to all of you, and it's by Maura Kuan Yin and her beautiful light work that she delivered to this planet so lovingly and gracefully. So anyway, going back to the story, right, of this unfolding, yesterday was super, super intense, and I've actually been working on resurrecting this fallen aspect, right, in my own life for over half a year. And it's been so incredibly difficult because I had to go through pain, like severe suffering, total disconnect from what I used to know, from how I used to feel, what I used to embody, right? And at certain times I was so upset because it felt like this is taken away from me. This is something I've earned. This is something I've worked so hard for to awaken in my life. But the beautiful thing that happened yesterday is something like an event triggered me, and I'll actually teach this month on Patreon, because there's been a whole reversal. I'll talk about this at the end. But there was this something that's, you know, I'll share what triggered me, what was the triggering event. And I I was so in it. I went into this fierce, feisty mode. I'm like, that's it, you know, I'm entering the spiral. And I've literally been working on the embodiment of my true, pure spirit essence for quite a while. And when I was able to enter this space, it was like an instant merging with the great spiral of life. And I felt like this powerful hurricane essence. And it was so intense. Like just me sitting in the presence, merged with it completely, like pulling it down, anchoring it, and it created a tremendous opening. And then I went outside, right? I have this beautiful altar space somewhere. It's like a clearing space in the middle of the mountains. You have this beautiful view. And I was first called to sing a song. At first, I thought I'm going to do a commanding work, which was in your commanding spirit presence. And you're doing this direct goddess liberation work. But it was a different turn of events. So I happened to sing this song. And this was the song, the meaning, the content was about how, you know, basically this work that I was doing was the first cycle I was in, when I was already in that energy. I was in that space. I'd embodied this. I worked with goddess liberation all year last year. I was trained into the Luciferian energetics, how to work with it, right? This false light, that's what Lucifer represents. It's this false light narrative. And how do we actually liberate the goddess through that and that control that comes with it? And I was doing this work, and they were teaching me and training me into the pulsar, galactic pulsar of light, which I've talked a little about, but we did this whole course last year on Patreon, those of you who are with me there in the group community. And I was in that energy. And when this infiltration came through with these beings that I've talked to you about, and these beings were immense controllers, manipulators, and many things that I've talked to you about, they're literally a fraction that separated a long time ago from the family of light. And basically, you know, it angered me because I literally had to die, and I actually thought a few times I'm actually gonna die, and then there were instances when I wished I would die. Okay, so there's like 3 levels. And there was so much done to my body outside of me. This wasn't my own physical creation, but it was my allowance. And I actually co-created this experience for myself, because what came out of it yesterday when I finally felt my essence returning, it was Aurea, the giver of life, my pure spirit essence and what it can contain. It's like like the instant liberation work I'm able to do. And this is what I witnessed many times, like on several occasions last year. But then these beings came and they literally debilitated me in that ability, because they brought not just this confusion, infiltration of that, but they physically disabled me. I had, as you know, severe pain, and pain that became chronic, and severe aches in my head area. I was at the left side, the right side of my back, sciatic nerve pain that was like an instance so intense, like it literally radiated throughout my whole body. I couldn't walk as I used to before. As you know, I was a mountain goer. I climbed tallest mountains, you know, these peaks, and I was so depressed because I felt like this waning of my life force. And I was trying very hard to resurrect this through different processes that my own light family guided me through. And on each time I had to go through one level of training and then totally drop it, and then again, and then drop it, and again, right? Because each assisted a specific part of me that, you know, needed to resurrect. It wasn't just about clearing the channels. It was a lot, you know. It ended at the cellular level. Well, it didn't end at that level. It was needing to be done and complete. So all of a sudden this happens yesterday, and I feel this shift. And it's almost like I no longer felt called or compelled. And I wasn't doing this work for a week now. I just let my body to soak in that which I've already created in this self-healing space that they were showing me, because it led me to the I am and working with my own essence, which is my spirit name and the frequency of the song and the Elohim presence, the family of light. Because I always tell you, the creation is like one giant body of the Elohim. And then you have these beautiful light extensions that we are all also aspects of. And so I had to leave that. So for about a week, I was just resting, and I was physically incapable to do a lot. And then suddenly I'm called to go and visit my mountain valley. This was a week ago, but I couldn't go because I was physically in so much pain in my back. And then this week, this was on Thursday, I just like, I need to go. And I went, and I can't describe it because it was literally amazing. And I came home totally at peace after such a long time. I felt this like surge in power rising in me. And then I opened a window at night just before going to bed, and there were these huge portal winds beginning to blow. They're like circular, right, in motion. But as you know, with every sort of elemental science or the way life is being created, there's a darker version of the elemental force and a lighter, and this was very light. And like Spirit was telling me, this is Aurea wind blowing now. And I didn't know what it means, right? What does it mean, Aurea wind, right? I knew what it means the next day because I woke up with this charge and I literally became the hurricane. I merged with the essence of the hurricane. So later in the afternoon, we did this activation work together with someone very special. And there were basically aspects of life force that we activated, because life force has a trinity, and then when it enters this realm, it has to, in essence, merge with every single one of these elements. So I'm going to be teaching this work this month, how to basically create from spirit, because we know the threefold nature of the goddess is not just the crone, the mother, the maiden, right? But this is like mother, father, child, you know, but it's also, like I always tell you, it's creator, creation, and life itself, experience through that creation. And it's love, wisdom, power. And it's many trinities, right? We can imagine. So when we did this activation, it was just continuing, right, the work. And then they were showing me how I'm now upgraded into this kind of work that is directly just entering the spiral. And they said, this is what we're trying to resurrect for so long. And the guidance that was revealed that I actually received was that the first time when I awakened this consciousness, I was activating it. But this is what's called the second coming of the Christ. Is this what's being activated? And this is what I already had. I experienced it, and then it was a downfall, and I couldn't understand why. I was already in it. How can this happen? How is this even allowed to happen? You know, I experienced everything. From, you know, when you have those 5 stages of grieving, right? And levels of acceptance. And it's just like, how on earth? You know, that's what I was feeling for so long. And then what they showed me, what Spirit showed me, is when it's achieved through that gradual resurrection, which is not just activating the Christ, but then resurrecting it through the fallen aspect. This is when you really enter deep. This is the descent of life. And when it's resurrected, this is the second coming of the Christ. That's when it's complete, and that's when it's permanent, and nothing ever can take it away, can harm it, can go against it. There is no more opposition, because this time it's been integrated through the body. It's been embodied. This is what Christ resurrection truly is. And we each, because we're different beings, right? We're all different levels of advancement. It's how it is in creation, right? We're all one, but we carry different energetic responsibility due to what kind of being we are and what we've already learned to work with and how to work with the aspect of love and light and creating, right? In their unity, in divine trinity. So we're going to be differently expressing that. But it's something that they show me, this is what we've been resurrecting. It's now been resurrected. So I felt all of a sudden I no longer need to do this healing work anymore. It's been done. The body will process and just automatically respond to this. And now my work is each day, every day, I'm entering into the spiral. This spiral is, if you can imagine, this pure life force of spirit. And all you do, how this work is you merge with aspects, right? So I'm going to talk about more in this month's Patreon update. But this is what I'm going to be doing. I'm also going to be supporting the work that I already do, but in spirit as well, because it's what they show me. You provide a spirit platform. Then there's the soul aspect, right, which is another part of the Trinity, the spirit, soul, and body. And then our bodies will be the ones that will play in what we're creating. So they show me this next stage of creating through spirit is the spirit provides the template. The spirit is that essence, and it's naturally responsive to what's being created, and it's like organic. You don't need the kind of protection that is building shields and walls, because we all know things are happening, right? And we want our creations to remain pure. So it's like spirit provides the essence, the template, and then our soul through the heart, this is what we call the 5th density, we're creating through the heart. And the spirit is that trans-dimensional aspect, which is beyond a certain density. Life force, which is pure spiral, right? It comes in everything we create just as a pure spiral. And it's already encoded. It's pure divine intelligence. We don't actually do the work. We just become the work. This is when you become the work. So the spiral of spirit creation is based on whatever you're trying to create. You're not even trying. You become it. So this is what I'm going to be teaching this month. And for me, it's natural, because this is where I come from. As I told you before, we as a group of beings Our soul, Oversoul family name is Aurea, and we actually work with harnessing, generating, and translating these illuminating currents of life force. But as a human, right, in this embodiment, I had to learn this, and I had to go through very difficult processes and through much pain. And, you know, there's an ant on my camera lens, so I hope you don't see it as a blur. Go away, little creature. Go your own way. And, you know, me and ants, we have a love story, love connection, as you know. So, yeah, basically this is how it is. So this is our new support system. And those of you who want to learn to create in this truly powerful way, remembering your home state, this is that Elohim consciousness. This is our creator self. We all have an aspect of that. That's what created us, right? And when we connect through that pure power, magic, miracles, anything can be created. That's the beauty of it. So I went out today after that intensity, and I got this guidance how this was like a collective portal, and all the starborn people have felt it. And then I've been sitting and on this beautiful, again, this cliff space, just entering the spiral. It's very simple now for me. It's natural because I've resurrected the energy, so I don't have to try hard to get to that, because there's an element of you trying, and you're doing the work. And then the work then needs to do itself through you. And this is when you need to let go. This is what they showed me. That's why for a week I was doing anything. Just allowing the body to rest in that space of what was already created. And then the grace of spirit is like, it comes. It's like an uninvited guest that you did invite. But it comes silently in this mysterious, mystical way. And when it's there, you're like, oh my goodness. I've done it. I've created it. It's been created through me, and it's really beautifully awesome. You know, when you have done all the steps and you've trusted every single one of them. So I've been sitting in the spiral today, and I instantly got this guidance about the unfolding of the current events in the world events. At this point, I want to recommend you one of the recent videos that Susan Ashley did, and I know I've been mentioning her channel and her work a lot because I do support her so much, and I love her deeply. And I want her to get more support as well and more views, because her work is just beautiful and pure and very much aligned with divine integrity. So I wanted to add her channel in my suggested or recommended channel box, so you don't have to search and I don't have to post the video link each time. So just go and find a community section, or is a where's the section with the channels, and you will see in the recommended channels, and you can just click directly, okay? So she's recently created this beautiful Arcturian message, so the Arcturian family of light for humanity, and these interjection timelines and what's happening at this time. So I want to mention, this was a beautiful share, that timelines are like choice points, right? And I've been talking to, like, was it a few months ago, about the unification of timelines. And those of you who are doing the Illumin Union work, you're working with the unified timeline, right? So it's not a line, it's a spiral of spirit. And even each timeline is, like I said, like a mini gateway. And on this path, like merging with these timelines, it's like those of you who are starborn beings, what we've been doing, we've been digesting those. It's like literally we came here, and a lot of you are newborn, which means you've never been on earth before, such as myself. And I know a few people like that, and they're amazing beings, right? And we've been digesting like aspects that were intended to happen, but we came here to each time intercept them. A lot of us came with the mission of intercepting these things. Like they were impulses that were placed into the very structure of this grid, like eons ago, you know, including this fallen Luciferian agendas and many, many principles. You know, it's not like everything that's happening on the planet, it's not just reptilian agenda and, you know, Illuminati and that's it. And there's fractions, right? Like creation is so vast, it's so diverse, okay? So for me, I specialize more in the false light. And that's why I'm so keen on sharing about this, because it's one of my training. And I can help people with that and getting this illusion and really aligning with the pure nature of light. That's organic. It's pure crystalline intelligence of Holy Spirit and its life force. It's like when you start creating with that, it's like you become your creation. It's not all just about visualizing it. That's one aspect. But like creation spiral is everything. It's already everything is in it. So all we need to do when we learn that level, or it's not a level, it's just like, it's creation, right? When we understand creation in this way, we just start merging with it. And that's the beauty of how much more we can create by actually doing less. But in spirit terms, we're holding space for much more. it's like a wider, more expanded consciousness. And we're creating light fields. So this month on Patreon, we also I made a topic about generating light fields, which is also important. And it talks about scalar waves and frequencies and all these important ET stuff, right? So it's been really intense. It's been an intense month. And I know a lot of you have felt the pressures of this quarantine, and it affected everyone globally. But what I received in the spiral today, right, and what Susan talked about in the Arcturian light message, how there's going to be a second coming, like the second event prepared, and how the first one was just a test. And today the message that I received was that the first event, which was, as you know, was a staged event, it was a pre-planned event. And it's not all like doom and gloom, darkness is allowed to do this, where's the light? And getting into fatal nature of seeing reality, right? Seeing creation through the fatalistic kind of view. And it's not all like that. A light path, like I said before, and the dark are merged. Light makes a move, dark makes a move. Light makes a move, dark makes a move. That's the whole plan. That was the narrative of the Lumen Union journey coming together. This Lumen Union creation, this polarity experiment, began in the Orion constellation, if you know. And it was a long story, and we're playing out now in our Earth's field. Like, it's almost like a memory of something that already happened. So a lot of us, you know, we were beings we've traveled around many places, and obviously in this galaxy and beyond. And we've been learning, we've been training, some of us like for a long time, because we knew that eventually this polarity experiment will be brought down to the densest point of reality. This was a part of the experiment. So for many of us, this is like a memory of what already took place. And because of that memory, and we have a direct connection with what was done and created at that point for that to become a lumen, and then those timelines relating to the Orion experiment, we have almost like we're encoded for this work. Many of us are encoded. It's not like there's something you can teach. This is something that erupts within you like a volcano. Something that's encoded within you is literally, it's beyond something you would think to be your knowledge. It's like if you push a button, automatically you get a response. It's of eruptive nature because it's intrinsic to our being. And what usually unlocks it, it's like external events and things like that. So I'm looking around. I don't know if there's someone here because I smelled smoke. So it's weird. That's why I'm looking around. So when we are here now, a lot of us came from what we call the future aspect. Like if we are in the time perspective, we came here to intercept these timelines because things in the general reality, which is like sphere of creation, they're interconnected. So we came here, right? We came from the future into this so-called past, in the new, creating the new now for both, right? This is what I always show you, right? The descending principle and the ascending principle are becoming one and unified in this polarity play, in this creation story. So what they showed me is the second event is, well, the first one was like a trial, right? It was a test. And from the dark perspective, this can be witnessed as, well, they're trying us out, you know, how far they can go and how much they can play with us and make us believe and fall into the fear scenario and all of that. And the narratives that are being presented, not just the governments, but the media and all of what these beings that are working together, right, for their own agendas. And they're all influenced by higher forces, extraterrestrial forces, as you know, and they just have their own scheming. So the light is more intelligent in a way, because the light doesn't scheme. The light connects with spirit directly, so it doesn't need to scheme, it doesn't need to plot. But in this way, we've been trained to like digest these energetics, these old timelines. And just recently on my Patreon page, I shared a meditation how when you connect to your sacred heart space and you can visualize these gray timelines, basically they no longer serve. And how the sacred heart, pure fire of spirit, can like it just sucks them in, it pulls them in, and they're dissolved. And a lot of us have been doing this work and more. And what they showed me, this first event was global, but the second one will not be so more, because what happened is people in different aspects, you know, the places on the planet, regions of the planet, carry a different light quotient. So the whole planet in itself has it's what we call the Schumann resonance reflects this light quotient and how it responds. It's alive, it's an organic thing. It fluctuates, just like you have a good day and a bad day, and you have a day of high frequency or a day of lower frequency. But in general, there is an affinity of how high, what is the maximum point of this light quotient that was achieved or reached. And so different regions, the spaces on the planet, have gathered at different light quotient levels. So for me, obviously, because I'm a creation pillar, I hold an immense, a tremendous power aspect of the life force when it comes through me, as I've been streaming it for so long. So my country is also influenced by me, but I don't have an impact just like, you know, locally in this country, because obviously my field is very expanded and it can reach beyond just that and that sphere of influence. But in a way, this now is like a resilience tactic. So it will really depend now with the second wave, which a lot of people are already feeling. They're feeling it like a pressure. A lot of people connect to in advance. They will feel, because they feel a timeline. We don't necessarily feel a reality, but we feel into a timeline of that like presented to us. And that's why a lot of people get very much in the fear mode, even if they're, especially, you know, the sensitive empaths, because they kind of feel these things. And when you operate at the unified timeline, which is, come on, and move away. Seriously. They really like my camera. I don't know. It's like they're just crawling. The creepy crawlers, right? So it's like, it really depends now. So what they, come on. So what they've showed me is like, there is now a divergent aspect to it. The realities are already starting to, it's like bubbles within a greater bubble, right? There's going to be a sense of splitting. That split is going to be, you know, first that split was experienced in those of us who are individuals, right? We feel we're in this new reality where there's someone here, it's like next to us, totally asleep. So we were like that micro body of that experience. Now it's going to be presented at a larger scope, like this field. This is the greater perspective, right, that Spirit is showing us. And it's going to unfold differently because, like I said, different places on a planet hold a different amount of that light quotient, and people are responding differently, and some are moving into unity, others are not. It really depends. You don't need all people. You just need, like we always say, like the critical degree, which a lot of people call the critical mass consciousness. But I, you know, function more on the life force principle, which is what they show me as the maximum threshold of that life force needed to be anchored. Not just activated, but anchored. That's why the anchoring space and the meditations and the global work that many have been doing now at this time, when we have time, right, to retreat and resort and do this work, we've been deepening in work. And in my case, what this helped me with is I've never learned, and I probably couldn't if I didn't go through the whole cycle, not just the first activated one. I learned to enter the body so deeply, and this is what they show me. I'm going to be able to help people by entering, fusing, and merging with life force and moving into the creation they're holding in their body, and help them with specific issues just by merging them, you know, with life force work. So I'm going to be offering that as a service too in the very near future. But for now, right, we want to go back to the bigger picture. So what they show me is not everyone everywhere on the planet will experience the second wave in the same way. That's why now the realities are already starting to converge. They're starting to split in a way. So the first event was global. Now it's going to be more, you know, it's moving into a more localized aspect of the expression. So it's still very important that wherever you are, you hold a sense of community and awareness. And I'm sure that we all knew, those of us who are points of inception of the illumined light, we knew where we're going to come and why and which places we want to hold light in. And we know that now this is our most important work. So as this quarantine time served for many people to start questioning and waking up, maybe some for the first time, we've been asked to deepen our work. And our work now, the way it's being deepening, and the requirements for the next stage of our development are no longer focused so much on doing more, but the way we do it. It needs more spirit backup. And this is what I've been doing yesterday, anchoring in that light activation, and what I'm going to be teaching and presenting further on in the advanced level, the mastery level on Patreon, which is my page called Ascension. And you're all welcome whenever you feel called, if ever so. And so this is quite an interesting time for many of us who've done an immense work of that liberation at this time. We're going to see things moving up, speeding up. For others, maybe not so much yet, but just know that we've all chosen not just our body in this lifetime and locale, but also where we would be specifically at this time of the event. And you know, so many years now, people have been talking about the event, and they all thought it's going to be the solar flare, the solar burst. But you have to know this is the last means. So watch Susan's video, because this is something they're showing me as well, because it does affect us and the way we live on the planet. And a lot of what we've built on this planet, it's not all bad and dark and, you know, it has to fall apart so drastically. We've built some very beautiful connections and communications we have with each other. A lot of us, because we're star people, we are based on different aspects of the planet. Imagine us being, for a time, being separate, you know. It's not as easy as now that we can at least connect in spirit and, you know, communicate with each other. So holding light from the spirit spiral perspective is now becoming super important. And what they showed me today is important. So I myself personally, you know, a lot of people talk about gathering food and water and this, and I do recommend that if you do feel the call. I haven't really felt the call because I really know I need to be in nature, close to nature as always. In my years of living in this mountainous area in the Alps, I've learned to be a hermit, but not just that. I've learned to live with nature. I know many things. I also know edible things and plants in nature, and you know, I'm good. And it's important for me to be located around a stream of water. And in our country, here in Slovenia, we have lots of pure water streams and sources, so that's good. We have lots of pure land still, even with immense deforestation, which is happening globally everywhere. But still, for now, it's in moderation. It's not like the ideal. I'm super challenged because I see a lot of dying of the trees that would not have to die. I'll just tell you that. And it's sad, you know, it's very saddening for me. And yet life goes on, and it's not supposed to be a force of discouragement for us, but we need to keep our due diligence. We all think, oh, summer's approaching, they're opening stores, shops, this and that. Don't fall prey to that, because this is usually how mass manipulation works. Oh, we're giving you this and that, so go and just be happy and play, but not really, because behind it, that's like another major point of, like, you know, limitation. So there's going to be a little bit of the mix and match now, like opening up and then closing again, but like opening up with an even greater restriction. So please watch out for that. Don't fall for everything. And don't now automatically, now when things are opening up, think, oh, I'm just going to go back to life as normal. There will never be the old normal anymore. A lot of us who are here, we knew that this is coming. I was like praying for the event to happen. Not the destruction kind of event, but a global event. And this was a global event. Although it was staged, it brought aspects to light that before were massively asleep. How many people didn't even know what's being done on this planet? I know beautiful people who have very pure intentions, but they know nothing about this. And they're still, in a way, slaves to the system because just because they don't know, just because they don't have the knowledge. You see, so it's important now to know that there's not going to be an outside savior, not physically or governmentally or presidentially or any other form of institution or work of service. It's not going to be an ET savior either. There's no savior. There is the meaning of the life, the purpose of the Christ, and you are all a part of it, especially if you're watching these videos. We are bringing forth higher potentialities of life, and then people of earth are choosing, because their right of choosing was so limited for such a long time. That's why we were as points of interception of light to bring that possibility of choosing life again to them. It's in a way our sacrifice, but as you know, I don't like to use that word. It was our gift. It was our gift of life. And many of us who've never been here before on this planet, we were totally different spaces. We came here out of that love and purity and devotion. So honor that and know that this is not a separation thing. We have to work together. And there's a lot of people who are still individuals and they don't want to work together. They don't want to be part of a group. That doesn't mean you need to build a group or a community. It just means we are working for this as one. That's why when I know someone who works for unity, I will totally support him. Right? So anyway, this was our major emergency broadcast system. No, they're talking about this being so, the emergency broadcast system and how they've seen the screens being tested. We don't know. Again, we don't know, right? I'm continuously still focused on gobbling up all these, like swallowing up, digesting all these old timelines that I do not want to witness here. Never. So this is what the spiral does. She like literally absorbs. That the power of spirit, that I'm witnessing when I entered the spiral is so immense that when you're in that power, you feel like you can rock the world, and you can. In that moment, you are harnessing an amazing potential. And we all know that the dark ones, or the so-called elite and all of that, the reason why they were so powerful for so long, and not just monetarily, but what they can do and create with that, is because they've learned how to harness a lot of energy. Mostly not through themselves, because a lot of them are no longer connected to life, as life truly is. And they've learned how to do that through others and other means, and taking in the life force and substances from others, from purity, from light beings, from pure sources, because that's where light comes from. So we need to build our sovereignty and, continuously choose. Those of us who are here with this mission and purpose, choose the mission. Don't let it backfire on you. Don't say, oh, nothing's happening, so I have to quit because there's no solution. Sometimes we all have those days and that's it. But then these portal days came. It's like everything opens up for us. And these are the days when you can actually see clearly what's happening. Not on the thick, heavy cloud kind of days when we're being bombarded with heavy chemtrailing and, induced frequencies and all of that. But these days are actually showing us the truth. And we owe it to the truth, because truth knows its source. We're all part of it. And we owe it to ourselves. Because we love life. And we love creation. And we love spirit. Because spirit is life. And life is spirit. So thank you for being here with me in this not yet emergency broadcast system. Broadcast. And I'll talk to you again next time. I love you all so very much. Stay connected to your sacred heart, the power of divine Trinity. And love is and power as always. Take care, my beloveds. Bye for now.